And now we should be live. All right.
That's how I got crabs for the first time.
What's that?
And that's how I got crabs the first time.
Yeah, stinks like sex in here.
Once.
All right. Are you guys ready to kick this thing off?
Dirty
Yeah.
Love.
Not a lot
I
of.
can't wait to hear the crazy stuff that came out of my face last year.
Yes. All right. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Going around the room, we have Knobs.
What's up?
And we have the Hannah.
Hey.
So last week we talked about top 10 of 2014. Went through our whole lists here. So as we do every year, we already 2014's done. That's old hat. Let's talk about the new hat, 2015.
It's a fancy hat.
That's where the good video games are going to come out, right, guys?
Yeah.
I'm going to play so much this year. Oh, it's going to be so good. As normal here, there's a couple, not really rules, but here's kind of the lay of the land here.
Guidelines.
We're going to start We're going to start with our predictions for 2014 for each one of our categories. It's Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, and then kind of general stuff. Which we have not seen since we recorded at the end of last year. So have not revisited them. I pulled out the envelope the other day, and there were our predictions.
Yep.
As has been for the last couple of years, I have to excuse myself from predictions. I like my job, and I would like to keep it. So I'm going to excuse myself from it. As always with every episode, but especially with predictions episodes, any opinions that I express in this episode are my own and do not reflect the opinions of my employer. Some predictions are for humor's sake, so don't be crazy and write us that you're very upset that we...
I don't think we attract too many trolls, so I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah, when I mean... A giraffe is not running Microsoft,
Not yet.
Okay,
how would we know?
God, giraffes have been coming up a lot in conversation lately. I don't understand
I
it.
heard them on the Giant Bombcast this week.
Why wouldn't they?
Gangly bastards.
Our Lord and Savior giraffes. Again, we'll have community members joining in the predictions throughout this episode, and as we've been doing for the last couple of years, points are counted. And we'll crown another community most correctest for 2014. So, hopefully your 2014 predictions were correct.
Ist.
So, let's start out with 2014's predictions for Microsoft.
Oh, gosh.
Knobs. At least 2 dashboard overhauls. You made sure to say the whole UI, not just features, before the end of the year. So you thought they were going to lay out 2 new XEs. And
Well, that didn't quite happen.
They
augmented it a few times.
We all agreed with it. We said yeah, everybody hates the OS, so
Yeah.
probably whatever. You also said we got to be getting a wireless headset, don't we? Apparently not. Microsoft does not care.
No, they don't.
And you said tons more sequels this year. I don't know if we saw any first-party sequels. Did we?
Not so much sequels as remasters.
Did we see a lot of those from Microsoft, though? Microsoft specifically?
We saw roughly 4 of them.
I thought we would be getting...
Master Chief Collection.
I thought we would be getting... like the Gears of War HD collection.
Yeah.
We got Master Chief, which obviously probably more people want, but I feel like we didn't I thought that would be Microsoft's kind of cash cow is, hey, remember Gears of War? You guys just buy it again.
Yeah. That Gears of War thing has to happen.
Yes, it does.
That has to happen.
I'd like to go I would like if they would do the same thing they did with Master Chief Collection with Gears of War, where you have the playlist where you're remixing stuff, you're putting all this stuff together. Like, I want to play a playlist where you're fighting every level that you fight a Brumac in. That would be kind of cool.
That'd be super cool.
Yeah.
I just want a ridiculous horde mode that has all the advantages of the original, or not of the original, but from 3, and then I don't know. I just want, with all the stuff and the leveling, I don't know.
I
They
mean,
just figured out another way to eat a lot of time.
yeah.
For a game already played.
I'll play all that stuff again. I'd like to play Gears 1 again. I've
Yeah.
played that in I don't know how long. That game was okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going through the list of games that came out in 2014, looking for XBO. I'm not seeing a lot of sequels here.
Yeah.
All right, 0 for 3.
Yeah.
Forza Horizon 2.
Well, there you go. Got one.
Yeah.
All right, moving over to Hannah. We
boy.
will not see an Xbox SKU without a Kinect. The sooner you accept this, the sooner we can move on. I agreed wholeheartedly with this.
I totally thought that was going to be a thing.
I thought
and
this was going to be a shoo-in.
Yeah.
They proved us wrong.
Yes, they did. I think they watched the show and were like,
Well, I think
That guy.
what they do is they do the opposite of whatever we say. So
Okay.
if we have a
So, no Gears of War 3 collection. Nobody wants that.
yeah,
Who would want to play that?
no, I don't think anyone wants
Old
that.
games.
That's old hat.
Yeah.
Get a haircut.
Give me Gears of War 4. That's what I really want. Do the opposite, please. Microsoft will be more responsive to customer feedback and will put out more frequent, smaller updates throughout the year. They're sticking with the OS. Ding, ding, ding.
Yep.
hey.
All right.
Hey, points are on the
Alright.
board.
Yeah, we got one.
Woo.
Microsoft will announce the successor to games for Windows Live in response to SteamOS will still suck.
Didn't happen.
Didn't happen. Surprisingly, didn't
Yeah.
happen. We thought they would. I thought they would kind of unify the Microsoft account stuff
Yeah.
around just Microsoft Live in general, and I'm kind of surprised they didn't.
Yeah, and Games for Windows Live isn't even really dead yet.
No,
Yeah.
they're like, hey, we're gonna turn it off, and then at the last minute they're like, well, I mean, like, I don't know, it's running that server in the corner. It'll be fine. We'll run it until it breaks. How's that sound?
Yeah.
It reminds me of those servers that they have for that call-in for the insurance. They're
Yeah,
just
exactly.
laughing.
That's
Yeah.
Xbox Live.
Yes. Yes, it is.
That's the Budapest server.
Yeah. Games with the Gold will get better titles, extended and made permanent and extended to Xbox One.
Kind of.
I think kind of the better titles, I think they're
Maybe not.
getting there.
Yeah.
But extended and made permanent and extended to Xbox One, all that stuff happened.
I think
That's here to
that's
stay.
that's a half point.
Yeah. And Microsoft will announce a competitor to Gaikai's game streaming service, which will not launch this year. I don't think...
No.
Have they ever talked about their streaming plans?
They've talked about cloud gaming, which is really more meant to augment the major releases, and like it's meant to add processing power on top of existing games and the existing system, not to fully like stream you games.
Right.
So I'm gonna go with no on that one.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so that's ours. We don't really tally points for us, but let's go to the community and start adding these numbers up.
Okay.
All right, Gnarly Thotep says, despite a shakier start, the Xbox One recovers from the initial PR problems, although it still lags a bit in Europe.
I
think that's
pretty
a point.
good.
That is
That's
a
pretty
point.
good.
One
That's
on
a
board.
that's an apt prediction.
Yeah, I think throughout 2014, if anybody is to be applauded, I think Microsoft did a really great job of just shutting up, fixing the OS, and just putting games out.
Yeah, they did solid on that one.
Smart glass integration, although well used in a few games, never really catches on as an integral part, instead serving mainly as a way to display maps, inventory, etc. I think that's a point.
That's a
As
point.
sad as that is.
Yep.
2 points already. The Games for Gold program will improve, although it will still lag behind PS Plus all year. Xbox One games don't start appearing until summer. I think that's
Half a point?
another one.
That's another one?
Well, is that a half? Yeah.
When did the first Xbox One game with gold come out?
I think that was around E3.
Yeah.
And we'll give a half a point.
Okay. All right.
Still doing okay. Kinect integration for the bulk of games is limited to voice commands and slight gestures. Kinect heavy games continue to underperform. I don't think we've seen any Kinect games this year.
Nope.
Except for Fantasia, which I think is out.
It is.
Okay.
It came out, unfortunately.
Well, okay.
Harmonix was not happy.
Yeah, I bet. I unfortunately think that's no points because we didn't even get Kinect games this year.
But good news. The previous prediction. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, he's right with the voice commands and the slight gestures, because you can look around corners with the head tilt in Battlefield.
Oh, that's true.
That's kind of cool.
Well, there are voice commands.
No, it's not.
Yeah. There are voice commands in Forza Horizon 2, which actually worked really well, where you use voice commands to manage your GPS. Oh, all right. I'm going to be generous. Let's have a half point.
And I will say that the previous prediction is a full point because the first Xbox One game with gold was Halo Spartan Assault, June 3rd, 2014.
All right.
Wow.
That's a point.
Well done. Well done.
Gnarly Throw Tap after that is 3.5 points coming out.
Well, let's just crown it right now. No one's catching that.
Yeah. I don't even think I scored that high, and I was most correct is 2 years running.
Well, we still got a lot of predictions, a lot of people from the community, so let's move on to Minako here. Right. Console sales do not improve in 2014, will be behind PS4 the full year. I think that's a point.
Yeah.
I think console sales were pretty lame all year, and I don't think they beat PS4 all year. So
they did beat them once. I think it was either last month or it was last month.
Okay, but
that was it. Like that barely counts.
I'll still give a full point. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Number 2 was improvements to gold.
Not really.
I think that's kind of a half point because they pulled down the paywall for a lot of the apps.
Oh yeah,
like
I forgot
Netflix,
about that.
Hulu, IE, Skype. I think they pulled down all of those paywalls. So other than that, not really. So let's give a half point. I'm feeling very generous today.
Indeed.
SKU without the Kinect comes out in 2014 for the Xbox One. Plus,
that's 1 point.
So Minako after this round has 2.5 points. Also, totally in the running.
Mm-hmm.
Lance Freeman, once the Xbox One gets a stable foothold in the market, the DRM is coming back. Surprisingly not.
Yeah.
I thought they would have started, throughout firmware updates, kind of, coming in and saying, like, well, now you can share games, but, with who? And Lance Freeman says, Kinect finally gets its hardcore game. No. That poor Kinect is not going to make it. Urgent X Fury says, Xbox One SKU without Kinect announced in time for the holidays next year. Yep.
It's a big old point.
Close one. New Gears of War game from Epic. Surprisingly not.
Yeah.
I thought we would see something.
Yeah.
Or even like an E3 announcement where it was like, we're coming back. Yeah. Old Emu writes, supported by third-party titles dissolves most of Microsoft Studios to focus on non-gaming aspects of the console. Surprisingly, the opposite.
Yeah.
They got rid of all the non-gaming aspects of the console and just kept the games.
Yeah.
So that Xbox Entertainment division was surprisingly short-lived.
So would that be a negative one?
No. will not be unfair.
That's number Wang.
That's number Wang. Number 2, backdoor dealings with retailers exposed. I still don't entirely know what that means, but I don't think we got any of that.
I don't think we did either.
And Dead Rising 3-2, the ringing of the dirty sponge. Didn't happen, but we did get a really great tongue-in-cheek DLC. So
yeah, we did.
That you feel better about that.
Mm-hmm.
And last but not least, Musum comes in with sales stay behind Sony by approximately 100,000 units through most of 2014. No clear market leader by end of year. Fans continue to debate over whether the numbers represent sales to retailers or sales to consumer and which matters more. I want to give you a full point for just that last sentiment there. For sell through or sell to, which one is the... Yeah, I'm gonna give you a point because all of that is BS.
Yep.
Titanfall's release doesn't benefit the sales of the Xbox One because Xbox One is already at maximum manufacturer output. So the first half was correct. The second half, you can probably still find a day one edition of the console.
Yeah. Yep.
So, half a point?
Half a point.
Halo 5 pushed back to 2015. Point.
Yep.
Quantum Break.
That's a layup.
Quantum Break is released, but still no one knows what it is. Surprisingly, didn't come out in 2014.
Nope.
They pushed that back to 2015 pretty quickly, for whatever reason. New Xbox One SKU announced in the later portion of 2014.
Would that be the Connectless SKU?
That got announced pretty early in the year, right? Was that an E3 announcement?
Yeah, I think it was.
Or pre-E3 or something?
Yeah,
Pre-E3?
technical price cut, but...
Well, actually, it was pre-E3 because I remember them announcing it like 2 weeks beforehand and being like, look, we're not even going to deal with it at E3. Like, you guys got 2 weeks to calm down about it. Then we'll talk about the games.
Yeah, that's what they did. Okay.
Yeah. All right, so coming out of this, it looks like Gnarly Thotep so far is our current leader. Mm-hmm. So, let's talk about Microsoft in 2015. Knobs, what do you have?
Alrighty. Well, I think in response to Sony Experience, Microsoft will have their own random event this year, and it will be hilariously bad.
That's probably safe to assume on both counts.
I'm taking easy points from now on.
Well, I think for Microsoft, I think they're sort of looked at in being left out in the cold here because Nintendo has their monthly Nintendo Directs. Sony is now going to have both E3 and PSX, which I believe they're already talking about having next year.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a huge hit for them.
Oh yeah. So when you're Microsoft, I think you look and say, well, we need to do something too.
Yeah, and it's going to be awful, but I think it's going to be awfully bad.
It's going to be so awkward. Oh man.
What else say? I guarantee there'll be a price drop to around $300, and they'll gain a ton of ground in sales.
Interesting.
Even though I think I come down like $20 to get to that mark now, but
yeah.
But man, $300 for an Xbox One, that could
That'll
help them a ton in the market right now.
Yeah, that's a game changer.
Yeah.
Let me see. Then, man, I can't read my own writing. I should type this stuff out.
Yeah, I don't trust my own handwriting.
All right, this year they'll make the dashboard make sense.
Okay, this is the year.
This is the year. Call it for an overhaul. All right, and then let me see.
That's just going to be the hashtag you use on Twitter. Hashtag call for an overhaul.
Yeah, overhaul. Nice. Hashtag XBO. All right, so this year we will definitely be getting a wireless headset. It has to happen.
All right, I like keeping the faith alive. I like it.
It has to happen. It's driving me nuts that we don't have one.
Yeah.
And my fifth one for Microsoft will be they will have to address the storage problem.
Interesting.
On console storage, because it right now I'm at me alone I'm at 90%.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, I wonder if they're ever
going to 6 games or something.
I wonder if they're ever going to do that, or if they're just going to keep the line they've been having, which is just buy an external hard drive.
Yeah.
They have to address it. Either they're going to have to pony up some cloud storage for these game files and do some sort of cloud processing, because it's going to be ridiculous here in a year. Next year is everyone's going to hit critical mass and be like, what do you mean I have to uninstall my games?
Yeah.
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 And that's going to be an issue. And that's my 2015.
All right, Hannah, what about you?
All right. The sales gap between Microsoft and Sony is going to narrow due to Microsoft's responsiveness to their user base.
Nice. I think we're starting to see that a little bit anyway.
Yeah, I mean, Knob said easy points.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's one of the things that we have been celebrating Microsoft for this year is, there's whatever site that is that Microsoft takes votes for upcoming features. Mm-hmm. And they've been implementing a bunch every month. When the monthly update comes out, they'll put out a list, and it's like, well, we did all this stuff, and all of this stuff that you guys voted for, here's the stuff that came in. Like, now the Xbox One can play MKVs. Go crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, Microsoft hosts their own public gaming-centric trade show or press conference.
Almost guaranteed. Easy points.
Yeah.
Easy points on the board.
Indeed. The standalone Kinect will get a price drop, but sales will stay flat for it.
Yeah, because that standalone Kinect is way too expensive.
Yeah.
How much is it?
It's $150.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the PC version is even more expensive.
Because it's basically a dev kit.
Yeah, yeah. That pricing is so tone deaf.
So I heard from someone who worked on an app for the XBO that was working directly with the API. The Connect API can do some real crazy stuff.
Oh, I bet.
And I was like, okay, I just sort of get the people that don't want the Connect in their house now. Now that I know what it can do, yeah, that's a little scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Microsoft will hint at plans to shut down the 360's Xbox Live servers. They won't shut down for at least 2 to 5 years from the announcement, but they will hint at it being inevitable in 2015.
Oh, so it's one of these things where, I could probably see someone interviewing some executive at Microsoft, and they're like, "Oh, when is the Xbox One's been out for over a year? When are you guys looking at shutting down Xbox Live on the 360?" And it'll probably be an innocuous quote like, "Oh yeah, we've been talking about it internally, and we don't really have a timeline, but at some point it's going to go away, and the headlines are going to be." Xbox Live for 360 shuts down in 2 months.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. Like someone's going to say something about it because 360 is gonna be a decade old in 2015. They're gonna have to start end of lifing it.
Yep,
it's going to happen. Those servers are gonna shut down.
Well, at some point, no 360 games are gonna come out except for Madden 2017. It's and we're here on the show saying, "Oh, that's still coming out on the 360." That's crazy.
It's still coming out on the PS2.
Yeah. Not anymore, thankfully.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And my last one from Microsoft is Halo 5 sells okay, but not as well as expected due to poor PR from the Master Chief Collection.
All right. I could see that.
Oh, just keep throwing those softballs out there.
Yeah. Hey, man, easy points.
Go out on a limb. Give me a wireless headset.
Wireless Connect.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about stuff from the community. Old Emu writes in, new Gears of War developed by Black Tusk will sell well but disappoint longtime fans. Probably. That seems like a safe one, especially after whatever the last one was called, Judgment.
Yeah.
And then Sunset Overdrive 2 announced.
I can see that.
Maybe. I could see that being an E3 thing. Recently they announced the first DLC pack for it, so they'll probably focus on that for a little bit. But I could see E3, they maybe put a teaser in there, something like that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Lance Freeman writes, to save the Xbox One in Japan, Microsoft will resort to buying exclusivity for some highly anticipated titles. Can you say Final Fantasy 15 timed Xbox One exclusive?
No. Sorry, I don't think that's gonna happen.
I don't think they would waste the money.
I don't think they would either.
Not to be mean, but that's not their market. They don't care about that market. It's not going to sell. It's going to sell on the PS4. Square will throw around the money to make that not happen, I'm sure. Because if you launch that on an Xbox One exclusive, no one will buy it until it comes out on PS4.
Yep.
Yeah, the Japanese market isn't as nearly as impulsive as Americans.
Yeah. Games for Windows Live officially retired, as in straight killed off, not the half death it lives in now. Games for Windows Live 2.0 announced. I can see the first half.
That sounds familiar.
Probably not the second half. I'm assuming that Microsoft, now that the new CEO is in place, I don't think that they would go in for another Games for Windows Live.
Yeah, if anything, they'll unify it under Xbox Live.
And it's not worth the money. Steam is winning. Steam won. Yeah. Steamworks is the thing you use. GameSpy died. Games for Windows Live is dying, or something. I don't know how likely that is. Be interesting though.
Yeah.
Next one is Let It Ride. I don't trust Microsoft to leave the XBO DRM off. It's only a matter of time before that switch gets flipped back on. Maybe. I mean, I don't. We'll see. I'd like to be an optimist and say that they won't, because the market didn't want it. But
yeah, they've built up a lot of goodwill. I'd hate to see them squander it like that.
Yeah, but Microsoft, that's kind of what they do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Man. After that statement, I was like, yeah, it's going to happen.
Yeah, now the Xbox One is $250. Also, DRM's back. And lastly, continuing the trend set by Rise and Dead Rising 3, Sunset Overdrive jumps to PC. That'd be great. More people need to play it.
Sweet.
Can't go wrong.
I'd jump on that in a second.
Minako writes in with, nothing will help the Xbox One sell in Japan. I expect extremely mediocre sales. Yeah. I think that's an easy one.
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft will continue to lag behind Sony and Nintendo's console sales. Probably. Like the Hannah said, probably the gap will start closing.
Mm-hmm.
That seems reasonable. She says, crazy guessing. I expect Xbox exclusives to always be available on PC in some fashion, shooting themselves in the foot in sales further. I don't think that's crazy guessing.
No, I don't think it's crazy at all.
If Street Fighter V is coming out on PS4 and PC and is cross-platform play, I think when you're a publisher of games, I think you want to recoup the majority of that money. And if it is on PC, sure, whatever. Making that money back.
Yep.
Musim writes, with Microsoft catches up in console sales this holiday season and gains an overall lead in the US only. Maybe. We'll see how December happens.
Yeah.
I was listening to NPR the other day, and they had this rhyme about the PS4, and it's PS4, your Christmas is sure. Xbox One, you lost your son.
Oh, man.
And that's the market.
They're not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of mean, but, they're not entirely wrong. So it's going to be interesting to see how the December sales happen.
Yeah.
He predicts original Xbox games become available on tablets. Maybe. I feel tablet makers are figuring out how to do some of that stuff. There's a lot of buttons on that old Duke. So not sure how they would do that. But maybe someone will figure out a way. Or on your Surface, you could always just plug in an Xbox 360 controller with its built-in USB port.
There it is.
Got a USB.
I actually really do like the Surface 3. I mean, it's a nice tablet.
My aunt got one. She loves it.
Yeah, it's really nice. And then he predicts Microsoft completely gives up on Japan. I
can see that.
I don't think that's unlikely. Just
Yeah.
kind of pull out of the market and say, well, we tried. For 15 years, we've tried, and we're done. Gnarly Thotep is last one here for predictions for Microsoft. He says, doubles down on non-game content, producing more Xbox exclusive / timed videos / music specials. Maybe. Quantic Dream, whatever that game they're putting out. That one that has that integrated TV show with it too.
Yeah.
That one, if that succeeds, maybe. If not, chances of that are probably pretty slim. Increases smart glass / tablet integration. Increased push on Windows tablets, e.g. the Surface.
Ooh, I hope so.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see them do more smart glass stuff. It's a cool system.
It is.
Just someone needs to find the right thing to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, right now messaging on Xbox Live has been a dream through a smart glass app.
Yep. That's how I message through PS4, is I just use my phone with the PlayStation app. Other than having to type out letter by letter on the console.
Oh, that is so antiquated. I was trying to send a message on the 360. I'm like, this is
how did we do this?
Yeah.
This is wrong.
I still have the keypad for the 360, so it's great.
Oh, nice. A Dearth of Kinect implementation, except for a few third-party titles. Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's a given. Increased focus on publishing exclusive content. Probably.
Tomb Raider.
Yeah. And then they develop a similar rental system to PlayStation Now. I'd be curious to see if that happens, because they famously have the you're backwards if you want backwards compatibility line, which of course they have quickly backpedaled from. But it'd be curious to see if they do anything with any sort of backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
So
how is PlayStation Now doing?
Not great.
We'll talk about it in 2014 Sony predictions. That's all the stuff we have for Microsoft. Knobs, you predicted for Sony in 2014. Sony will stay with the status quo for the whole year and ride the success of the launch. Nothing crazy other than launching games. For the PS4 and Vita, pretty much, yeah. I'd say that's pretty on the money. They didn't do anything crazy. Project Morpheus is out there, but hasn't launched, so I don't feel like that really counts too much.
Yeah.
So, all right, point for that one. This year we'll have an absolute must-have game for the Vita. Everyone goes to buy it. This year, everyone goes out and buys the Vita. It's the Vita's year.
I swear to God, I think I'm going to say... Might just carbon copy this for this year.
Maybe 2015 is Vita's year.
Are you saying it's really more of a wish list?
It can be that. Totally. The Hannah says PS4 will continue to sell well and outpace the Xbox One by a good margin. Point for you. PSI will be implemented poorly by developers in an excuse to add features and would force people to buy a separate Vita version. I forgot the PlayStation Eye was out until you mentioned this in your predictions. I think the only thing that people use that camera for is so people can look at them while they're streaming.
Yeah.
Yep.
Other than that, I can't think of a single game that uses it.
Nope.
Excuse me. Vita sales will show a steady but not phenomenal increase over the year. I don't know if it... I think it's done okay. I think the Vita 2000 helped it a little bit, but...
Probably.
Nothing crazy. Vita TV will make it to the US not until Q3 or Q4, comes slightly altered. Ding, ding, ding.
Wow.
You got both.
Nice.
And Gaikai launch will be a disaster, but only because of server issues. So no points. I'm sorry.
No points on that one.
It was okay with the server issues. It's just nobody wants to pay those prices because they're way too high.
Yeah.
From the community. All right. Start adding these up again. Gnarly Thotep. PS4 does well all over, but continues to lag behind the Xbox One in the Americas.
Sorry.
The PS4 camera is used well by a few cross-platform games, but doesn't catch on unless bundled with a killer app. Sorry.
Nope.
Vita integration bumps up the Vita status along with the continuing improvements to its library, but still lags behind the DS crew. I'd say that's a point.
Yeah.
I think it's done pretty well as the, hey, you want to do remote play? Pick up a Vita. It works.
Yep.
And lastly, Sony releases a smart glass-like technology to allow for multi-platform releases. Surprisingly not. I thought they would do more stuff with smartphones and Vita and tying that whole thing together.
And they have not.
They surprisingly have not. Even with like the Sony Ericsson phones.
Yeah, which is a bummer.
Yeah, they haven't done any of that. Crazy. Minako, PS4 is the lead console over the other two for 2014. +1.
Yup.
Vita sales will rise throughout the year. I think they've stayed pretty stable.
Yeah.
I think they had a little bit of a hump for the 2000, but other than that, where's the other one? The other Jay-Z asked in chat, when was your cutoff, Boston? There are 3 more posts after Gnarly. It was late in the day yesterday, so I cut it off on Friday. Should have locked that thread. Sorry, everyone. It takes me forever to make these notes, so I had to cut it off at some point. Where were we? Vita TV announced for America. +1. Minako coming back. 4.5 points. She is totally tied with currently tied with Gnarly Thotep.
Indeed.
Close race. Lance Freeman. The Vita TV launches in North America, and DualShock 4 support fixes the problems in the lack of touchscreen support. The Vita TV will replace the handheld Vita as a game machine, with the handheld becoming the dedicated PS4 touchscreen.
Half a point?
Yeah, because I mean it has PS or DS4 support, but still a bunch of games don't play on the Vita TV either because it's underpowered or because it just doesn't support the touchscreen at all.
Yeah, you're not going to play Tearaway on that thing.
Yeah, that's why they're making a PS4 version.
Yeah.
Urgent X Fury, have to agree with everyone, and Vita TV will be announced next year. +1.
Yep.
Old Emu, positive word of mouth drives PS Plus subscription sales. 1 point.
Yeah.
That has been taking off.
Mm-hmm.
The Last Guardian does get released. Not a dry eye in the house. I'm so sorry.
Oh, man. That's good.
His last prediction is original action game being co-directed by Jaffe and Balrog. I'm surprised that didn't happen.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if maybe Balrog will work at the mysterious murder investigation team company.
Yeah, Jaffe's new studio.
Whatever the dumb name is. Oh, boy. Who's next here? Musum.
Yep.
Titanfall 2.0 announced for PS4. I'm sorry.
Sadly, no.
Infamous Second Son disappointing to non-Infamous fans. No, unfortunately, It was the opposite.
Yeah.
Most Infamous fans were like, that's okay. And non-Infamous fans were like, hey, this Infamous stuff is pretty good.
Have you guys played Infamous?
Yeah. Uncharted 4 dated for 2015. Is it?
It's slated for 2015. Like, there's no specific date.
+1.
Yeah.
Vita becomes popular enough for larger game companies to develop for, but continues to be an indie powerhouse. I think you get a half point for that.
Yeah.
Most large game companies are not really interested in developing for it, but man, indie powerhouse is kind of the name of the game for the Vita right now.
Yeah.
And last prediction is Vita TV disappears. So surprisingly not.
Yeah.
I thought that would have been a shoe, and I never thought we'd get that here. So he has 4 points. Whew.
Wow.
Close race here.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Sony 2015. Knobs, what do you got?
All right, Sony maintains the status quo and inevitable price cut.
Seems safe to me.
Yep. Let me see. Oh my gosh.
They already have a wireless headset, so you can scratch that one out.
Yeah. Yeah. An unexpected rollout of Project Morpheus gets a lukewarm response, but it works really well.
Okay.
So you think sometime in 2015 they're going to be like,
Yes.
hey, it's coming out in a month.
Yeah, I think that they're going to pull a Saturn. I think, hey, it's out.
Hey, it's E3, it's out. Go get
pick it up. Let me see. A big push to move to the Vita console. Gains unprecedented ground.
Interesting.
Let me see. And then Sony will have a rough first quarter. And I think it's over the bad press of the hack.
Yeah.
For Sony, I think they'll get lumped into that.
People misunderstanding which parts of Sony are which.
Exactly.
Yep. Interesting. Hannah, what about you?
PlayStation Now gets a subscription plan.
That would be nice.
Yeah. The Order 1886 flops hard.
I am very curious to see how that game does.
Yeah. Morpheus continues to be shown off, but does not hit retail. We're going to see it a bunch in 2015. It's not going to make it to retail.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Host versus host.
Indeed. The Vita gets cracked wide open and becomes as much of a piracy nightmare as the PSP. Sales go up.
Interesting.
That
would be a really interesting 2015.
That would be a very interesting 2015. And Last of Us gets a sequel announced.
Okay. The second Last of Us.
Yeah.
Second to the Last of Us.
The Last of Them.
Oh,
Ooh.
all right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, let's move to the community. Old Emu says Sully dies in Uncharted 4. I mean, Sully half dies in all of them, so maybe it'll stick this time. Quantic Dream announces episodic downloadable title. Maybe that would be interesting. And Valkyria Chronicles trilogy collection for the Vita.
Oh, that'd be
Yes,
cool.
That would
please.
be really great.
That'd be real awesome.
Seems like
Really
those
really
ones
cool.
are going to come to the PC, but that would be a great platform for that stuff.
I've always
I love-
wanted to play them.
Yeah, I mean, that would be really cool. I think that thing can handle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Lance Freeman says it's do or die time for the Vita. If PSTV doesn't help this thing, Sony will give it one more reinvention before moving on to the Sony Handheld 3.0. I don't know if they'll try again with the Vita.
I doubt they will. I think they'll release a really nice phone with some nice controls on it that plays Vita games.
And I think they'll price drop the Vita to the point where it's like, look, remote play. That's what you want to do anyway. Just buy this thing. It's $150. Here we got a cool bundle, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Got a bundle for $500. Just buy a Vita.
Is that PlayStation phone thing still out?
Sort of.
I think they killed it a little bit ago.
Yeah.
It never really. Those games are playable on the Vita now. So
Yeah.
I think they just killed it off. Verify file integrity feature introduced to combat digital games launching broken because of a bad config file and having to re-download the whole thing to get a clean working install. For a lot of consumers, especially those with bandwidth caps, that would probably be very much appreciated.
That'd be huge.
That sounds like one of those things where it happens and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, good for Sony.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all right, that's what we needed. And lastly, in its current form, PlayStation Now is unusable. Subscription model incoming, or else it'll die off. Maybe.
Agreed.
That's probably the only thing that can save it, or way cheaper prices. Minako says, I predict this will be the year for Japan on the PS4. The sales need to go up, 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 up. If we need a hard number, I'll say double sales of what it is now in Japan. That would certainly help it in the PS4 in Japan.
Yeah.
But there's got to be something that's going to push that console in that market. I just don't know what. PlayStation Now will need to integrate somehow with PS Plus. Okay, this could be wishful thinking. I'm thinking a subscription rate attached. Possibly.
Yeah.
You can add it on your PS Plus subscription to get that other stuff. That would probably be the smartest idea of all of them.
PS Plus Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like N++. PS TV's mediocre in sales, going nowhere. That's a point on the board. I can mark that in permanent marker right now. Crazy guessing. 2 new IPs from Sony, exclusive to the PS4. Specifically, I'm feeling from a branch in Sony Japan.
Probably.
Possibly. I think I don't think that's a crazy guess, especially with some of the stuff that Sony's trying to do.
Yeah.
Interesting. Musim predicts outsells Xbox One in China. Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's going to go.
Yeah, that's going to be a real wild card for a while.
Yeah. The Order has lackluster reviews and sales. I think sales will be okay, but reviews are probably going to be a little bit harsh on that.
Yeah.
Uncharted 4 revitalizes series or totally finishes it. There's one or the other. I don't think there's really any middle ground on that one. Major PS4 XMB, or whatever it's called, overhaul. Messages still take forever to load. Almost guaranteed.
Yeah.
And PS2 PSN games start working on PS4. That's an interesting prediction. I feel like if there's an easy thing you can announce at E3, it's probably that.
Yeah. And at that point, you may as well just make just throw the PS1 emulator on there. Why not?
Yeah, just PS1, PS2, and then you rent your PS3 ones.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of have all 4 generations taken care of.
Yeah.
Gnarly Thotep writes in, PlayStation TV follows the Vita's lead, respected and lauded by some, mostly ignored by many. Solid, stable sales throughout the year. Maybe. For me, I'm kind of curious about using that thing as a remote play game in the other room if I can get my PS4 hardwired. Because otherwise, it kind of just doesn't work. PlayStation Now shows surprisingly strong returns and adoption. Sony would love that.
Sony would love that,
but
it's not going to happen unless they make some changes.
Yeah,
Sony would love
it has
that.
not been the surprising runaway success like PlayStation Home was.
Yeah,
which I'm sure some people are thinking I'm being sarcastic about that. PlayStation Home is and continues to be very successful for Sony.
Yeah.
Last Guardian status finally stated, in development, canceled, etc. Probably.
Yeah, they sort of mentioned something a little while ago.
I feel like if that doesn't show up at E3, probably shows up at
It's
TGS.
done. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's probably more TGS than anything else, but I feel like 2015 is the year where they have to put a stamp on it. Like, yes, we're working on it. No, it's an indefinite hold, or no, we canceled that like 20 years ago. Just something. A strong push for more classic titles a la Grim Fandango, especially adventure games.
Mm-hmm.
We saw that with King's Quest at PSX. So
Yeah.
probably they seem to be doing really well. And there's a lot of, I think, third-party companies out there like Blitworks and places like that are sort of specializing in that, being the HD remaster houses. So, and then continues to lead yet not dominate console market through 2015.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, the Xbox One and the Wii U are still doing well. They're not. Nothing is doing anything like the Wii did. Everybody's doing pretty well. Even the PS4 isn't doing what the Wii was, because no one can do that again.
No.
Nope.
All right, we're still doing okay on time. So, all right, let's move on to Nintendo 2014 knobs. I believe Nintendo will sell a Wii U without the tablet.
Nope.
Surprisingly, not. They have really stayed pretty stable with that. The Hannah's gonna scoot out here for a minute. We're gonna soldier on here real quick. They will release another version of the 3DS this year. I thought that was going to happen in the U.S.
They did that flat one, right? That was this year?
The 2DS? No, that was last year.
Oh, it sucked.
Yeah, but they did release the 3DS, the new 3DS XL. It just hasn't come to the U.S. yet, so I say you still get a point for that.
Yeah.
The Hannah says Wii U will see a price cut in 2014. We got that.
Did we?
Yeah, it got dropped by $20
Nice.
when all those bundles came out.
Oh yeah,
when they
yeah.
killed the white Wii U,
Yeah.
the basic or whatever it used to be called. I think we got a price drop then.
Nice.
3DS sales will spike after the redesign. I think that's true for Japan. I think the new 3DS XL did well over there, but otherwise sales have been okay. 3DS can be used as a second screen for Wii U. Surprisingly not.
Yeah, that is surprising.
I thought that would have been... Instead, we got Game Boy Advance games on the Wii U and not the 3DS. So, who knows anymore?
Yeah.
Nintendo still won't unify their online system. You can just... That's going to happen every year.
Yeah, carry that one over.
Yeah. And they will continue to ignore the rest of the industry and will continue to do well. Yup. All right, moving on to the community here. Start adding more of these here.
Right.
Gnarly Thotep, Wii U continues to underperform despite a holiday bump. First-party development continues to shift to DS. I don't know if either one of those happened. Wii U stayed pretty stable, and I don't know if anybody is really pushing too much on the DS, except for like Square Enix.
Yeah.
But they didn't make anything for really the Wii U in general.
No.
Yeah, they had Bravely Default was huge this year, and that was about it.
Yeah. Develops 3DS integration with Wii U, but in a relatively limited scope. I don't think the two talk at all.
At all.
Yeah. Wii U price drop in summer 2014. I think that's about when it happened.
Yeah.
Ish. 1 point. New 3DS model released sometime in fall 2014. I think that came out... The new one came out earlier than that. I don't recall. But it didn't come out in the US. So... I don't know how many points that is. 3DS continues to be the big seller, console and software. Compared to the Wii U, 2DS has strong, steady sales. I think a half point because the 2DS just did not take off.
No, it did not.
Which I'm surprised. I thought that would have been, hey, your kid wants a 3DS and they're under the age of 10. Get this thing. They don't burn out their eyeballs and they can't break it.
Yeah, it's made by Leapfrog.
Yeah, exactly. Boy, Gnarly Thotep has a bunch of points here. Minako, Wii U sees more games 2014 and will manage to fight for second place with the Xbox One. maybe a half of a point. It was it fighting with Xbox One? I feel like sales were pretty low in 2014 for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. 3DS sales continue to be extremely strong. I don't know if they were extremely strong over the year either. I think the only thing that was really strong was PS4.
Yeah.
Almost all year. Probably another Zelda, probably another Mario, probably another Pokemon, probably still no Mother 3. Half point, because I think 2 of those were true.
Yeah.
I think we got a Mario and a Pokemon.
No Mother 3.
No, that's never coming out here for so many reasons. Probably another 3DS model in time for those Christmas buyers. No, they're moving. They're moving units. They're moving the old 3DS at this point, but not the new one. Lance Freeman, we're finally going to get true unified accounts with account-based purchasing. Soon you'll just have to log in a new 3DS to download your entire back catalog.
Nope.
I love the optimism, but man,
Yeah.
they do not care.
They don't.
There's the one thing they could do that would make sense.
I know. Once 3DS Miiverse launches, someone will start the Bring Super NES Virtual Console to 3DS campaign. No. I don't think Nintendo's interested in doing that.
No,
for
probably
whatever reason. Crazy. Platinum officially goes second party for Nintendo. That didn't happen, but it seemed like a shoo-in.
Yeah.
Sounds like Nintendo does not want to pay for another Bayonetta. So, probably not. Urgent X Fury. Zelda for the Wii U gets announced at E3, and the release date will be around mid-November. Halfway there.
Yeah.
Did get announced. Plus half a point. Wii U price drop sometime next year. I think that's a point. That happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Starting to lose it already. Wii U continues to struggle. I think it's done okay. It's not the Wii, but it hasn't been the thing where you buy it and people are like, "Oh, you bought the Wii U." It's not the Ouya.
Yeah.
To be blunt, when somebody bought the Ouya, they're like, "Oh, really?
Yeah. Oops.
Yeah, you kind of made an oops there." Retro Studios releases a trailer for another entry in the Metroid world. The announcement happens at E3. Sadly, no. That would have been super cool. Old Emu, new console Zelda announced with quirky art style not unlike the Wind Waker. Half point. It was announced, but it surprisingly looks more like the Twilight Princess and whatever that flying one is that I didn't play.
Surprisingly unquirky.
Yes, lack of quirk. Unveils original IP or temporary console exclusive that moves tall units. Think Resident Evil 4. I don't think we can say yes or no about Splatoon yet, since it hasn't come out. But it seems like that's the cart they're hitching their horse to. So that would be a 2015 thing. Decides to be cool and allows Metal Gear Solid the Twin Snakes to be remastered.
Unfortunately, no.
No, sorry. Musim says, the year of Toad. Thankfully, no. Nintendo
That's
experiences
next year.
Yeah. Nintendo experiences corporate restructuring due to poor Wii U sales and lack of third-party support. Surprisingly, no. It seemed like that was going to happen for a while. But they're kind of keeping the same team. And the new X game, which is now Xenoblade X Chronicles, or whatever they're calling it, is not scheduled for release outside of Japan, which, surprisingly, it's happening for the US.
Yeah.
All right, let's start with Nintendo 2015. Knobs, what's on your list?
Alrighty. I think they'll continue to struggle, kind of.
They are not happy about that.
They want that to succeed. We're going to take a short break here.
Yeah, that was madness.
Somebody is probably at the door.
Yeah.
Give me a minute to add stuff up.
Yep. Wow.
I have no idea what just happened.
We'll give Skype a second to recalibrate here because it blew out your mic.
And it's still going on.
Oh wow.
Anyway,
you have ghosts.
All right. Let's do another count in here so I can edit it.
All right.
Hold on. Is there somebody at the door? Is there a truck outside?
Hey, Donnie. I'm upstairs recording. Remember, I was going to text you when we were done, or you're going to text me before you're coming over? Instead, I got to deal with this nightmare. Thank you. All right, well, I'll let you in so we settle these fuckers down. All right.
It's not in the episode. It's fine.
Sorry.
You're all right. It's not in the episode. You're fine. One moment.
Oh boy.
Leave it to Donnie, man.
Yeah. Donnie, everybody.
Yeah. So this gives us a good opportunity to let everybody know this is our last live stream for the year.
Yes.
There will be top 10 episode next week and the predictions one after that. And we will stream again January 4th. And Pup is back on January 3rd. Thanks to everybody for hanging out with us for almost 3 hours here.
Boomer, come on. Come on. All right, fine. You're in here. Whatever.
Donnie, everybody.
There's the ruckus.
All right. Starting again in 3, 2, 1. All right, we had a short dog attack here, so of course it was Donnie.
Is it on the live stream though?
Yeah, totally on the live stream. So let's keep continuing here, Knobs, with your Nintendo predictions for 2015.
All right. Well, I think Nintendo will still struggle a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Still lag behind the big two, and they'll try. They might find some audience, but not much. I don't know what's with these dogs at Nintendo. All right, my other prediction is they'll release a new piece of hardware this year.
Like a brand new thing?
Like a brand new thing. No one's expecting it to happen.
Okay.
And my third is we'll get a new Metroid.
Oh, nice. That'd be nice for the Wii U.
And that's what I got.
All right, Hannah, what about you?
Well, I also have a crazy dog who is trying to play with his own leash and collar here, so let me pick him up. Say hi, Cooper.
Hi,
What's
Cooper.
up, Cooper?
Oh, he's adorable.
He is. It's horrible. So, new Zelda releases Q4 is underwhelming.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Amiibo defects continue to be cosmetic and hilarious.
All right.
They're gonna work perfectly, but they're gonna look crazy.
I would like that to happen.
That'd be awesome. We're gonna see a redesigned gamepad for the Wii U, further confusing Nintendo's customer base.
That
this is so much better than mine.
That seems likely.
They finally announced a true Pokemon game for the Wii U. It's sort of a shot in the dark, but
Interesting.
Mario Maker comes out and is perfect in every way and sells me a Wii U because I want it to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's hope that happens.
Yep. And that's all I got for those.
All right, let's move on to the community here. We're running out of time, so we're going to fly through some of these here.
All right.
Old Emu says, mature exclusive title makes a big splash a la Resident Evil 4 for the Cube. And total embrace of the two blaster Samus amiibo goof into a character/suit upgrade for the actual series, History of Nintendo or Smash Brothers variant. That would be pretty fun.
That'd be great.
Lance Freeman says, Nintendo inches closer to having a decent online infrastructure. This year's innovation that everyone else has already figured out. Downloads locked to accounts, not hardware. That'd be nice.
That would
One
be good.
year we're going to get that right.
Yeah.
New 3DS finally gets the long-promised GBA Virtual Console, while the Wii U finally gets DS Virtual Console, maybe N64 support too.
Probably not.
Maybe. Yeah. N64 support seems the most likely out of all of them.
Yeah.
But there aren't that many games for people to care about.
Mm-hmm.
Melee HD announced to shut people up that Smash 4 isn't exactly like Melee. People still complain.
Yeah.
The last half of that is probably the most likely.
True.
Minako says, despite this being the year of the new 3DS, we're going to hear rumors of a new handheld from Nintendo. That'd be interesting, like the true successor to the 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
Sales of new 3DS are lackluster? Probably. I predict Wii U sales will close the percentage gap between PS4 and Wii U from what it is currently. I don't think it will overtake the PS4 sales, but certainly will improve. Maybe. Hopefully. Musim says new Metroid announced, and Open World Zelda pushed to 2016. Interesting. That one seems kind of likely.
Yeah.
Gnarly Thotep rounds us out by saying strong push on classic franchises to push console sales. Increased amiibo adoption across first and third parties. Integration mainly cosmetic/non-essential. Probably.
Yeah.
Big push on 3DS/2DS software/hardware with multiple software bundles. Probably, especially as the new 3DS comes out. Probably push the old units. Strong initial amiibo sales slow throughout the year. Probably because nobody knows how many amiibos are out there until they're gone.
Yeah.
So that seems to be pissing a lot of people off.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, third-party support for Wii U drops, stays strong for handhelds. Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap this up here with general/industry for 2014. Knobs, you said sequel hell for 2014. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Sequel and remake hell.
Yeah.
There were a couple outstanding, brand new games with brand new IPs, but a lot of sequels, a lot of HD remakes.
Yes, sir.
And then you said
a lot of definitive editions.
Yeah. You said we will get away from numbered sequels. So a lot of things like The Rise of the Tomb Raider and Assassin's Creed Unity, Assassin's Creed Rogue. So I'd give you a point for that.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of them.
Oh, coming back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Quantic Dream will release a game for the Xbox One.
Nope.
Sorry.
Nope.
Unfortunately not. The Hannah, Steam OS and Steam boxes will be industry darlings. Nobody will own them. Surprisingly, Steam boxes didn't even come out.
Yeah.
E3 will be dull this year, completely devoid of huge announcements. I think we all agree that E3 was pretty great this year.
E3 was pretty great this year.
With a lot of really good game announcements.
Yeah.
Square Enix as a developer will have a quiet year. Yeah.
They've been having a quiet decade.
Well, true. But Square Enix as a publisher will have a huge year. I think that was pretty true.
Yeah.
And they did okay this year. Third-party developed console exclusives are going to be rare. You said specifically things that don't also come out on PC. Those were pretty rare.
Yeah.
Things that just came out on just the Xbox One or just the PS4. And without coming on PC, that as a year stretch on, that came pretty rare. Which is nice. That's a good thing.
That's definitely a good thing.
And lastly, sequels everywhere and tons of HD remakes. That's a point.
That's a point every year. Who are you kidding?
Gnarly Thotep says, independent development on consoles sees better returns than previous generations, but titles still have to fight for notice/recognition. I feel like that was maybe a half point, because the PS4 really, with indies, really kind of focused on that in 2014. I thought it did really well. Maybe it's just us. I don't know.
Maybe.
I give you a half point. PS4 helped out on that. Steam Box is released with initial surge in adoption, yet lagging sales afterwards.
Didn't even release, really. Yeah.
Ouya 2 released, but like Ouya, fails to gain significant acclaim/adoption. +1. No, barely anybody remembers that Ouya 2 came out this year.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Zynga finally shutters its doors. Surprisingly not.
Yeah, that's amazing that they didn't.
They're doing okay. Overall, more companies will link games between systems, such as crossplay with Sony or dual progress like Portal 2 on PS3/Steam. I don't think we really saw a lot of that. I think we saw a lot of cross-buy, but I don't think we saw a lot of cross-play. We saw a lot of cross-save, too, but not a ton of that. No Half-Life 3 nor Half-Life 2 Episode 3. Gamers continue to complain. Valve continues with wild experiments.
Yes.
Yep.
That's a point.
Valve loves Dota.
Yeah.
Wii U exclusives will be ported to PS4 and Xbox One once Smart Glass type integration becomes workable. Surprisingly not. Wii U to PS4 and Xbox One doesn't seem to be a thing this year.
Yeah.
I thought that would happen. Minako says Atlas announces Persona 5 coming in 2015 for the PS3. They get a point. Because that happened, and then later they said also the PS4.
Yeah.
Aside from whatever Blizzard has already announced, no new games are mentioned in development. Yep. They didn't really announce... They didn't announce anything this year, right?
No, nothing earth-shattering.
Yeah, they might have announced Heroes of the Storm, but nobody cares about that. And Valve sticks to working on their Steam OS and not their games. That +1, yeah.
Yeah.
That continues to happen.
Wait, I thought that Blizzard made that shooter, didn't they?
It hadn't come out yet. Overwatch?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Overwatch. That got
yeah,
announced.
they announced that at BlizzCon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even think it's alpha yet.
No. Looks super good, though.
Yeah. Lance Freeman says Steambox sure will be a thing. Steam OS will probably be the real big draw of the system. Surprisingly not. Thought that was going to happen. Yeah. Battle.net goes multi-platform, starting with PC console crossplay for Diablo 3. No, on the contrary, Blizzard is breaking those apart more and more.
Yeah.
Zynga will continue to somehow survive, probably being absorbed in the EA's mobile division. Nothing will kill the shambling monstrosity that is Zynga. +1.
Yeah.
Well, that's a half, because
EA.
they didn't get it.
Yeah, EA.
Simverse becomes a reality. Sims 4 and SimCity will be integrated, as well as any upcoming Sim games. That's my game. Simfarty. It's the funniest fart game that
It really
has ever
is.
been made. Sim Farm, Sim Tower, Sim Ocean, you name it, it'll be integrated.
Cool. Didn't happen, but
No.
cool.
That would be neat.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Capcom continues their downward spiral by announcing a fully microtransaction-driven Street Fighter game, a Resident Evil game starring Alice from the movies, and trying to sue Kenji Inafune over Mighty No. 9 before announcing, then canceling, a competing Mega Man game. Thankfully, none of those.
I'm surprised at the last one, honestly.
Yeah, I'm surprised that hasn't gotten litigious, but
Yeah.
who knows? We still have a couple weeks. Once people
Merry
realize,
Christmas.
Yeah. Once people realize they have to buy a new Ouya every year to keep up with Android development, it'll start tumbling downhill fast.
Yeah.
They didn't buy the second one. So Urgent X Fury, Resident Evil 7, or Capcom will reboot the entire franchise. They just announced HE remakes.
Yeah.
So I don't know what
think
they're
that
doing
counts.
anymore. Old Emu, new Silent Hill announced, back in the hands of Japanese devs.
Yes.
+1.
Yeah. Wow.
All right. Amazon partners with consoles, divides by zero, profits. I don't think we've seen very much of Amazon's gaming division this year.
But half a point because they're trying to get a console out there.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
All right. Plus half. Yep. All right. Another non-Telltale Walking Dead is released. Not terrible, though. We got 2. So, +1 for you.
Uh-huh.
And last but not least, Musim comes in with Fallout 4 announced. I wish, man.
No. I mean, it's happening. Like, they're definitely developing it, but
Someday.
they haven't said it.
Yeah.
Is it bad I'm happy when people are missing these?
It's a little bit of schadenfreude.
Because I've done so bad.
Yeah. All the console Persona games come out in the US with a month of their Japanese release. Not happening until 2015. Sorry.
Yeah.
Persona 5 for Vita announced at end of the year. Nope. SteamOS is released, but Steambox is pushed to 2015. PC Linux fans love SteamOS. No one else uses it. I'm going to give you a point for that one.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants either one of those.
Nope.
Titanfall experiences consumer backlash over average customer not understanding it's a multiplayer-only game. I actually don't think that happened.
Yeah, just kind of crazy.
I think everyone was... I don't think anyone cared. I don't think they cared enough to know it's a multiplayer-only game, which is kind of sad.
Yeah.
No new exclusive IPs are brought to any platform that make it a must-have. Sunset Overdrive is the only one that got close, but I don't think it performed well enough to be a must-have.
Yeah,
I think maybe after a holiday season, because I've been pushing that game to anyone that's got it. Got an Xbox One.
I pushed it to a dude who was delivering our new TVs.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, what game should I get?" I was like, "Oh, Sunset Overdrive. Like that's the game you get." And he's like, "All right, I might go out and get one. That game does look pretty cool."
Nice.
Between that and Shadows of Mordor, I don't know what game I pushed more this year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And last but not least, In Exile launches its third Kickstarter. I don't think
they did.
so.
Yeah, I think they're still hard at work on Torment.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about game/general industry for 2014 for 2015 before we announce our most correctest 2015 because I have to do a little bit of math. Knobs, how about you?
All right. Well, firstly, I have no clue what's going to happen. I'm just, if this show is any indication of that, my pulse is, my finger's furthest away from the pulse to possibly be. So, but what I do think is going to happen, I think the classic game revitalization is going to be great for us, and everyone else that's younger than us is going to hate it.
Oh yeah.
Other than that, I think what's his name? I can't remember his name. The Dead or Alive guy,
Itagaki.
Itagaki.
Yeah,
that game's finally going to come out next year.
Devil's Third.
Devil's Third.
Yeah.
Other than that, that's pretty much all I got because I was racking my brain and I couldn't think of a thing.
Okay.
All right, Hannah, what about you?
Capcom gets bought by Sony or closes entirely.
Oh,
Wow.
dude, it's already right. I hate you.
Valve still does not announce Half-Life 3.
That's an easy one. Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Bungie attempts to make all Destiny players happy all the time and fails.
Okay. Sadly, probably.
Battlefield Hardline comes out and is the most controversial game of the year for societal and gaming reasons.
I think that is most likely.
DDoS attacks continue to be a problem for services like PSN and Xbox Live. Microsoft starts working on a new mitigation solution when it starts to impact them financially.
Interesting. Okay.
And my wish list one, Telltale makes an Archer game. Please?
Oh man.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
That'd be the best thing in the world. I play that a
Four
lot.
options, and they're all horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
All right.
phrasing needs to be in every dialogue tree.
Yeah. Instead of the silence, it just says phrasing.
Yep.
All right. For the last couple minutes here of the show, let's move on over to the community predictions. Old Emu says MGS5 receives lukewarm reviews. Maybe. It could either be kind of lukewarm or really good. I don't think it's going to be bad.
I'm so happy it's not my dog.
My dog is all the way downstairs, so I haven't heard her in a while. Silent Hills pushes the limits of good art and good taste, loses Norman Reedus, goes full-on silent protagonist and first-person due to redesign based of the success of PT. Maybe.
That's a pretty good guess.
That's
cool.
entirely possible.
Yeah.
Next, Telltale The Walking Dead puts a player in the shoes of Rebecca's baby, now grown, under the guidance of Clem or Lee, or vice versa.
Who's Rebecca?
I don't know.
No clue.
No, now we got to play season 2 before next year's predictions.
Yeah.
Lance Freeman, Ubisoft learns their lesson after AC Unity /Far Cry 4 /The Crew. Too late to help AC 2015, but maybe AC 2016 won't be a bug-ridden mess.
Probably not.
That'd be nice.
That would be nice, but
A dream, a little dream.
Yeah.
Someone other than Nintendo will show up at E3 with a pre-recorded press event. It's easy to make everything go right when everything's been done in advance. I think we're going to see more of that as the years go on.
Yeah.
Battlefield Hardline underperforms because, in light of recent events, glorifying militarized police isn't going to go over very well.
No.
Probably.
Yeah, I'll back that one up.
Yeah. More absurdly large patches with no regard for connection speed or usage limits, almost guaranteed.
Yeah.
I think storage could be a huge issue for 2015.
Yeah. New Sonic game announced, and literally no one cares.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was one thing I was gonna say. The year of Sega.
Year of Sega. Okay.
Okay.
I'll pencil that one back in.
There you go.
Minako writes in, rest in peace, NIS and NISA, Nippon Ichi Software. Hopefully not. There was a mistranslation lately about their closure.
Yeah.
Following that, I predict most of the IPs worth grabbing will now be part of Sega Atlas or Axis.
That'd be cool.
If they do close, man, nobody better to pick it up.
Yes.
Persona 5 will achieve sales like no other Persona before it across all regions. Year of Persona. Year of Persona. Year of Persona. Final Fantasy 14 will finally have more subscribers than World of Warcraft. Drops the mic. It's doing really well. It's a runaway success. I expect layoffs / doors to shut at Natsume. I don't see how this company survives. It's the Radio Shack of the gaming industry for me. Probably. That company is in a really weird spot.
Mm-hmm.
Musum, new Deus Ex is announced / released. Seems like 2015 is a good time for it. It's been long enough since the last one. Destiny 2 is previewed and announced for release in 2016. Fans are disappointed by DLC. Probably.
Ooh. That's pretty solid.
Persona 5 Game of the Year, except for Knobs. And there's like a sad, angry face.
That's more of a straight face with a furrowed brow, just a...
Yeah, just like a new Elder Scrolls game announced. No real Fallout news.
That'd be hilarious.
Probably. No new Mass Effect. Probably not. I think that's a 2016 game.
Yeah.
Everyone starts believing me that Warframe is awesome and starts playing it and agrees with me, and then I stop playing it. Maybe 2015 is your year, Mason.
Well, the second it stops popping up on your Twitter feed, I'll buy it.
There you go. Only you can stop playing it. And last but not least, Gnarly Thotep. Blizzard stays the course. No big game news outside of some StarCraft teases. Probably.
Yeah. Maybe an Overwatch beta.
Yeah,
nice.
maybe. Depends on how far away that thing is.
Mm-hmm.
Steam crafting / gems angers many to start. Streamlined and accepted by year end. Probably. Steam boxes introduced. Slow adoption.
Yeah.
Probably. Android consoles, e.g. Ouya, mostly disappear from Marketplace. Yeah.
Except for Amazon's.
Sure, yeah. Last but not least, streaming gaming continues to grow in popularity, helped by better searching / selection tools. Maybe 2015 is going to be the make or break year for that. So
yeah,
we'll see. All right, so let's get into of the 6 people that played in 2014. Who are our winners? Let's count down from number 6. Lance Freeman got 1 point.
Ooh.
Number 5, Urgent X Fury got 3.5. Old
Solid.
Emu bringing up 4th place with 4. Musum 3rd place with 5. And the last 2 separated by half of a point. Minako at 8 for 2nd place. Gnarly Thotep, most correctest in 2014 with 8.5 points. I think the highest we've ever seen. So,
wow.
Congratulations.
Hooray.
Good job.
Sir.
Most correctest of 2014.
You have your finger on the pulse, sir.
Yeah, I will get your new forum title whenever I'm not sick anymore. So never. Never mind. But that's all the time we have for predictions here. 2014 has been super great. Hopefully 2014 is at least as good, if not better.
Definitely.
Thank you very much, everyone, for listening in 2014. Tell your friends to listen in 2015. The show's really good.
We're awesome.
And that's all we got. So we'll see you in 2015.
See you next year.
Peace.
All right, and no titles this week because it's just the predictions. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching. This is our last live stream of 2014. We will be back January 4th, 2015. Don't forget, you still have 2 more episodes, one of which you just listened to.
Just listen to, yeah.
So happy holidays, happy New Year, everybody.
Yep, and thanks everyone for listening in 2014. Another great year for us, and 2015 will be even better. I know it. So, adios.
Later.
Now I gotta click the button.